Okay, welcome students. Welcome to our required second group geography meeting. I'm glad that the 10 of you are here. I want to say just a welcome to each of you, and I will record your attendance in the gradebook on this as well. So I'm welcoming Aurelie, Carly, Doris, welcome, Kristen, Lewis, Matthew, welcome to Roman, and welcome to Vanessa. If there's anyone that I've missed, just type your name in the chat box and I'll make sure to get you a big welcome. So, before we begin, I want to verify that all of you have been able to read the red text that's in the text box, which will give you the ground rules for today's web conference and also the agenda. If you have been able to read that red text, just please give me a yes in the chat box, please. Okay, I have a yes from almost everybody, and so the remaining of you are probably just finishing reading those instructions. So, for our agenda, we've already done the audio check. We're good for that. Let's move into item 2, which is who is in your group. Then we'll move to item 3, which is what do you have to do in this project. Then we'll end up with number 4, which is where do you turn your deliverables in. That's just the stuff, right, that you turn in. And finally, general project questions. So let's start with item 2. Who is in your group? Okay, so I just put some instructions in the text box, and you'll see it coming up here in red. So you're going to follow along with my audio. So click on People, View User Groups, and from there, you will be able to find your mapping project group. Okay? You'll see that it's a group of 4 to 5 people. I think only one group has 5. And I have grouped you with at least one person that you should know. One person should be from your last group. There's a few of you that I've broken up from your last group, but most of you will have at least one person you know in this new group. Okay, so do any of you have any questions or problems or concerns with finding your group? If you do, let me know in the chat box. Okay, so I'm not hearing from any of you in the chat box that you're having problems with your group. You'll notice you'll find your group called Mapping Project Group and then followed by a number. So there are groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for a total of 7 groups. Okay, then let's move on in our agenda and let's talk about item number 3 on the agenda, which is what do you have to do in this project? Okay, so you should see in red text in the chat box some brief instructions about item number 3. I'd like you to go to Module 5 and click on Group Mapping Project 3 Instructions. So, once you're in Module 5, under Group Mapping Project 3 Instructions, I'm going to go through this point by point via audio. I will stop at the end of each item to ask for clarifying questions. Okay, so everyone should be on the Group Mapping Project 3 instructions. And you'll know you are there, because at the top it'll say Group Mapping Project, 30 points. So I'd like to walk through with you, what will you do? It's titled on the top of the instructions, what will you do? So you're working in teams of 4, one of you is a group of 5, and you're going to be using online mapping tools. Essentially, you are going to create maps, okay? Now, some of you may have never done this before, and that's okay. There's detailed instructions in the project instructions. So, the maps that you create have to be original. It's not just a Google map already created by someone else, okay? Your map can be of any area that you choose, and you're going to format it by using a scale bar, north arrow, title, and paragraph caption that are all original. So in your group, you're going to create 4 original digital maps, which follow the guidelines I've given. And one map will feature the atmosphere, one map will feature the hydrosphere, one map for the biosphere, and finally one map for the lithosphere. Remember, these terms are just jargon. Atmosphere is the air. Hydrosphere is water, fresh or salty. Biosphere is life, and the lithosphere is the crust. So there's a link if you're not sure about these definitions. Each map should include a detailed paragraph which describes the pattern and process in the map. In addition, each map will include a URL for a 30-second to 1-minute screencast where you verbally explain and show with a pointer the map, pattern, and process. So, first of all, you may be wondering what sort of topic should your map even cover. Let's say you're thinking about doing a map on the biosphere, and you're thinking, what should my topic be? If you go down to what topic should the 4 maps cover, I give you an example. Each map should highlight a physical geography natural feature and the process that created that feature. So, for example, if you were going to create a map about the atmosphere, and you were going to map where cumulonimbus clouds occur, those are those thunderclouds. Well, you can map the distribution of cumulonimbus clouds. That's a feature. Well, then your caption or your detailed paragraph should describe the pattern, right? Maybe the detailed caption says, well, there's a lot of thunderclouds, these cumulonimbus clouds in Florida, because Florida is surrounded by warm water on 3 sides. That's the process that creates this distribution of cumulonimbus clouds. So, does anyone have questions about how to choose their topic or what these maps should show? Go for it now via text. Again, any questions about what these maps should show or what they are about? So Aurelie has a good question. As a group, do you have to choose the same location? Nope. Your atmosphere map could be from Africa. Your biosphere map could be from South America. Your lithosphere map could be from Antarctica. You do not have to all use the same location. Carly's question is, do you split up the different spheres, among the group members? Well, you could. You could say, hey, everybody take a sphere. However, the only problem with that is if you have somebody in your group who's really good at making the maps, but who's really bad at doing the screencast, you may not want them to do everything. You might divide it up and say, hey, 2 people are in charge of making the maps, and the other 2 people are in charge of doing the screencasts of the maps, for example. How you divide up the work is up to you. but all 4 of you will get the same grade on every product you turn in. Any other clarifying questions about the 4 maps and what they have to be about? Okay, seeing none, let's continue on to how will you make an original map? This is in the project instructions. In order to make an original map, you have to have the data and you have to have something that makes maps, a map maker. I've given you a number of links like National Geographic Earth Pulse, National Geographic Map Maker, Google Earth, or ArcGIS Explorer. These are all free. These programs will make an original map for you, and these programs also have data that you can use. Data from the atmosphere, the biosphere, the lithosphere, and the hydrosphere. I give you 4 steps on how to make an original map in the project instructions. Step 1, choose an area. Step 2, map some data and look for patterns. Step 3, if you see cool patterns, then explain or find out why that pattern is there. Finally, capture an image of your completed map and bring it into a word processing program where you can add a title, labels, and a paragraph caption and your screencast URL. I give an example of a complete map file. It's a PDF. If you click on Map Example PDF in the Project 3 instructions, you'll see an example that I've created of an original map with a title, a descriptive caption at the bottom, a north arrow, a scale bar, and note that the paragraph caption describes both the pattern and the process of volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest. I've also included a URL at the bottom for a screencast. You can host your screencast on any free screencasting video hosting site. For example, I've hosted mine on YouTube, but you can host yours there or on Vimeo or any other web video hosting service. So I'd like to open it up to any questions about how will you make an original map? Any questions about how will you make an original map? Okay, seeing no chat questions about how to make an original map, let's then continue on in the project instructions to how will you create a narrated screencast. Okay, once you've created a map, let's say you've mapped volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest. Well, then you'll use a free screencasting program like Screencast-O-Matic, which I've given you in the project instructions, to create a brief description where you are essentially doing a voiceover describing what's going on in the map. There's a tutorial on how to do it, a link in your project instructions. I've also given you an example of a URL that I've created and am hosting on YouTube. Please note that your screencast should be between 30 seconds and 1 minute. It should verbally explain and show with a pointer the map pattern and process and be easy to hear and see. Your map should be original,